science, because science is a reference to knowledge, means knowledge through the eyes of the Moor, or from a Moorish perspective. What that means then, it's requiring us to find out what that is, right? It's begging the question, what is this?
Melanin rising, Kundalini climbing, up my Jacob's ladder, break my ego down to matter, cause it really doesn't matter on a solar plane, high in my domain, but it's more like my state. Go! Reppin' the holy prophet, but don't forget CMB, Zodiac Constitution, that's in my DNA, Canaanland by bloodline, that's in my DNA, 5-point star with the red flag, on the green like the PGAs, no, 14th Amendment citizen, nationality is imminent, the man with his third eye open is the king, land of the blind land, before time landed, divine campus, divine universal mind, beyond universal time, this long lineage of mine, define universal time, I'm metaphysically inclined, try squaring up your conduct, the circle law you decides, if Spain was really Andalusia, how did we invade Spain? They invaded Andalusia, now everybody call it Spain, that's de facto standards, replace that title with the surname, but that ain't your name, cause that's from England, this is Merlin, when we was ruling all the waters, making pirate moves, who had it longer from 700 to 1492 than us, melanin rising, Kundalini climbing, up my Jacob's ladder, break my ego down to matter, cause it really doesn't matter on a solar plane, high in my domain, but it's more like my state. Go! Asia, major,
Rapping tales from
Asia, major,
Mexico and back,
Asia, major,
call it turning tide,
Asia, major,
this is certified.
Major, I am the league, hard to crown, ball not base. When I'm playing, I'm playing. Standing in your face, fez a turban on. You say Moors are gone, niggas tripping. Won't unify for a nation but booze and fried chicken. Astrology is Satanism, but every year you candle blow. Shooting targets, not moving highwaymen you can't handle though. Always debating Moors, but won't debate Khalid or Dr. Ben. Today you diss my prophet. Tomorrow you're begging friends to get vaccine exemption forms for COVID or Corona. Falling for orchidox, adrenochromis for melanin donors, unconscious of powers. We Richard King and Bruce Bynum. Our people lost in the sauce, stay stirring and can't find them, even with a strainer or using my hands in a container. Choosing higher over lower self should be a no-brainer. Claiming to know thyself, to know man's value. You can't be passive or stagnant. You must earth or celestial travel.
melanin rising, Kundalini climbing, up my Jacob's ladder, break my ego down to matter, cause it really doesn't matter on a solar plane, high in my domain, but it's more like my state. Go! Asia, major,
Rapping tales from
Asia, major,
Mexico and back,
Asia, major,
call it turning tide,
Asia, major.
this is certified. What is this Moorish nationality? In the context of Noble Drew Ali, Jonathan Noble Drew Ali was to be, as he stated, a divine and rational movement.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, they ahead of my born day. Independence alarm makes civil of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, they ahead of my born day. Independence alarm makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rob bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me upright, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astro plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Moorish Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pull, magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book are maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Islam Moors, peace and love to all Moors worldwide, even the dirty Moors. So we say all Moors, because we're with the unity. It's not like we're not with the unity. So we say all Moors, because we know Moors everywhere. Everywhere. So because we know Moors everywhere, we say all Moors. Not different groups and little cliques and all that. All Moors. Even dirty ones and all that. Because at least they know that they're Moors. Now, I don't excuse them for talking crazy. It does not excuse them for talking nuts. So, the good brother over at Subconscious Celebrity posted something today. And certain people, certain Moors bother me. Certain Moors bother me. Because certain Moors like to play like they have what it takes to do whatever, and they brought the whatever, and they don't want to give honors to Noble Drew Ali. They're going to talk as if Noble Drew Ali didn't bring everything it takes to save a nation, as if he was lacking in something that he didn't bring, and then here they come with it, the final piece for the puzzle of the Moorish whatever to be what it is. No, it's not. Noble Drew Ali and what he brought. Case in point, Mansour the Moor want to debate Canaanland Moors guy. No, we're not debating, because we don't debate Moors. We don't debate Moors. If you're not seeing it how I'm seeing it, you got problems. Because I got all these Moors around here that I could call on the phone that's going to be like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, I could ride. I might not agree with you 100, but I get what you're saying, and I'll ride with it just because, yeah, I get it. And then you have people who are absolutely contrary to that are talking as if they're credible. These people are not credible. I don't care if their video has 200 million views on YouTube. They're not credible. Drew Ali's credible. You put Drew Ali up against any of these people and what they say that they brought you. Forget Kudro and Canaanland Moors and all that. Forget all that. Forget what are you doing for the brothers. It has nothing to do with us. There's nothing. This is absolutely nothing to do with me. This is all Drew Ali stuff that I'm repping. I'm not repping my own personal opinion. I'm not repping I went and studied something, so I found that out, and then now I'm presenting this as the all and be all to the people. No, it's not. Everything's Drew Ali that we rep. The building that we have, the name of that is because of Noble Drew Ali. The name that we say that we are is because of Noble Drew Ali. The flag that we fly is because of Noble Drew Ali. The way that we dress when we say we're going to dress Moorish, or we're going to, be in our culture, we're going to be in our heritage and our bloodline, and we're going to look the part. That's because of Drew Ali. So, you can stop the BS about debate Canaanland Moors and debate Grand Sheik and see if he knows what he's talking about. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with Drew Ali every day, all day, because he's the man. And anybody who's pushing something else is a fraud, and they will play you. And again, to put it on the record, every single time we get on here, if you're claiming you want to know something about this information, the first place that you should go and stay there for a year is rvbaypublications.com. Go there first, go to the study, go buy a couple books. There are only 3 notes. They ain't these people telling you 100 notes for a book and all that stuff. And then the stuff that they have in their little $3 book, they're giving you more stuff than the guy who has the $500 book with 1,500 pages. We're telling you this. This is not our opinion. We're telling you because we have 10-year track record in this information, using that site as our base for anywhere we're going to go with this information. And we've seen that anybody who doesn't have that base, they eventually sink. Everybody. Everybody who doesn't have that as their base sinks. How you know they sink? Because they stop talking about Canaanland Moors and RV Bay and Kudro, and they stop talking about it. They just shut the hell up and go into their little corner and do whatever they want to do with their little minions that choose to follow them and ride their dick. Right? We're not the dick rider people. We deal with scholarship. And the only individual who dropped it where we could say, okay, you know what? This man has to be a prophet. If it's like that. So, guy who's on the other side talking crazy want to debate us as if we do debates and stuff. Another thing. There were 2 debates, 2 bona fide debates that we were supposed to do that didn't happen. One was debate Lord Abba, and he yielded on the day of because, it's Ramadan, we're not supposed to be doing this during Ramadan, so we're not going to debate on the day of. Now, mind you, Allah works in mysterious ways, because if we did have the debate, there would have been problems, because the place where we're at, the internet went down that day, so we didn't even have any internet. That's how crazy that one was. People want to say forfeit, win. And we just ended up having class because there's no internet and nobody would have been there anyways to see anything because nothing would have been happening. But no, he waits till the day of to try to play some game or whatever. Nah, he doesn't want to do it no more because it's Ramadan. Some sister told him, no, we're brothers and we shouldn't. What do you mean? You had 2 months or whatever like that, day of you're realizing some stuff? And what do you do? Shut the hell up. Now he's ADOS and all that stuff. You don't hear him talking about RVB and none of that. and Ali Muhammad, who bought the ticket. He was supposed to come here on the day of or whatever. Now let's cancel this and do some other thing the night before. I was like, cancel things tomorrow. Oh, okay, so we're gonna cancel. No, we're not gonna cancel. We're gonna set it up at the National Theater so we can pack the house because this debate's gonna be whatever, and then we'll split the door. Split the door? What are you talking about? What do you mean split the door? Like what are you talking about? No, because we over here we have a place that could fit whatever, 100,000, and you guys' place could only fit this amount of people. Like, oh, that's what this is about. Now, what's crazy with that is that their boy. It's crazy how these people do what they do. Their boy comes to record. They didn't even tell him that it was canceled. The individual who they sent here, Baba TV, go ask him, because he was at the temple filming the debate. He was here filming the debate because his boys didn't tell him it was canceled, and he still bought his ticket and he was coming here to film it. That's how messed up that conscious community stuff over there is. That's how messed up that is. That their boy who they chill with or whatever like that, right, was coming down here to film the debate. Because he heard debates going on. We didn't tell him debates going on. He's in New York or whatever. He found out about debate. He came here to film it, and then it's canceled. They still chilled over it. That's some cutthroat stuff right there. They're not people that I need in my cipher. That's why we say we're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian, African, Indian, none of that stuff. So you don't get us mixed up with anybody else here who's talking like they're for something with our people. If they're not talking about Noble Drew Ali, they're not for you, your family, your descendants, your heirs. They ain't for any of that. They're for their selfish self. Because Noble Drew Ali was a humanitarian. So why wouldn't you rep for a humanitarian? Why wouldn't you rep for somebody who's here for humanity? You're going to rep other people. So ain't nothing to debate and all of that stuff. We don't debate. Because we're 2-0 and we ain't debate anybody yet. We retire 2-0. Debate something. When you're supposed to be Moors. What are you debating? What are you debating? We don't got to debate anything. Right? Look how we don't have to debate anything. Right? So Noble Drew Ali told these Moors, all these Moors right here, right? Talking crazy. All these Moors. Right? I love my people, and I desire for their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. Now here goes this Moor who has a book and a website and all that stuff. You're supposed to trust this guy because he's a Moorish scholar or whatever. Right? And they went to court and they have the process to do all the stuff that's going to save you. Not Noble Drew Ali, these guys. They're telling you, what solutions do you have for our brothers and sisters under the Canadian jurisdiction? What solutions do you have for our brothers and sisters under the Canadian jurisdiction? Our. So he's playing unity games. Because if he's saying our, why would he say Canadian jurisdiction? That's not ours. If the brothers and sisters are in the Canadian jurisdiction and he's claiming our, then that means he's down with the Canadian jurisdiction. Right? So he's saying he's with there being such a thing called a Canadian jurisdiction, and there's brothers and sisters who are in that. Now what did Noble Drew Ali say again? I love my people and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they, our people, his people, have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. So he just called you Canadians in some live thing where millions of people could see this or whatever. Called you Canadian. When you do research, because these people claim they research, but they don't research, they're playing games. You can go look up Canada, a country without a constitution. So if Canada doesn't have a constitution, wouldn't that mean it's unconstitutional? And if it's unconstitutional, and Noble Drew Ali said, you're claiming names that are unconstitutional, that's why you suffer, didn't these people just call you an unconstitutional name? This is your own doing it. This is not the European KKK and the white man and all that doing that stuff. This is your own, putting you in slavery. And then because you don't say anything, then obviously you acquiesce. Because you didn't say that that's not what it is. You rode with it. Because you want to see some debate with these Moors online. That's not what we're about. We're about Drew Ali every day, all day. These people pushing you into unconstitutional jurisdictions under the guise of their Moors. And you want to know how come our people are messed up. How come we're in a messed up position? Because of people like these people. They know that this is Morocco. They know Canada and United States and Mexico and Brazil and Paraguay and across the Pacific, Hawaii and Filipino islands and all that, and across the Atlantic into Africa and North Africa and all that stuff. They know that as the Moroccan Empire. They know this. So what are they talking about? Canadian what? Canada doesn't even have a constitution. This is not what we say. This is what Walter F. Cool, Member of Parliament, right? Google Canada. Or, you know, people want to play games. You can't use Google because of the dark net. You got to use the other guy's speedy treaty search or whatever other BS that they have out there. Whichever, Firefox, whatever. Whichever search BS you're going to use. Canada, the country without the constitution. PDF's going to come up. It's not even hidden. There's not some secret stuff in the vault, and then we got to come out with it. Ta-da! We found the document for the whatever. And then you're like, oh my God, they found the document that says Canada. That ain't what it is. This stuff been around. This stuff been out. Our dumbass don't read. That's why we don't know anything. And then when we hear stuff that's shocking, we either turn off and not deal with it, or we make up some type of BS trying to justify something that's a fact. You can't even argue it. So if Canada doesn't have a constitution, that means there's no such thing as Canadians. Because Canadians would be a free national people of Canada, and that would have a constitution, which they don't have. And some people aren't going to like how it sounds and stuff like that, but this is what it is. They're the foreigners. The Jamaicans aren't the immigrants. The St. Lucians and all those people, they're not the immigrants. They're the Aboriginal indigenous people of the Americas. All those islands that they call West Indies are part of America. So those people are Americans. And if they're Americans, that means they're the indigenous people who were in America before Europeans came here. Americans aren't Europeans. Europeans are Europeans. And they come from across the Atlantic Ocean, a place called Europe. And Europe's not a country. Europe's not a continent. Because Europe's in Asia. So, we're not even playing any BS and no 500 million books to prove something. It's not that simple. Real easy. This is 1 times tables. It's easy. Canada does not have a constitution. That's not what Moors say. That's what the history of this place called Canada says. Because people know that it was Kanata. And people before that know it was Canadigua. And people before that know that this is Morocco. Stop the BS. Dark-skinned people ruled all this. Eskimos are dark-skinned people. They know Europeans. You go check. They're dark. So once everybody knows their place, now we could start having a conversation. When people don't know their place and they just want to talk crazy, what solutions do you have when you're talking about a corporation? What solutions do you have for Walmart to bring their prices down? Crickets, exactly. Because what are you talking about? How are you trying to tie me to some Walmart jurisdiction when we're both supposed to be Moors? Matter of fact, where's your fez at? We don't see you Moors wearing your fezzes. We don't see you Moors wearing turbans. See you Moors got your little kufi on and stuff like that, playing around like some Muslim stuff. We're not Muslims. And even if we're Muslims, we're mystic. We're not mundane. We're not dress-up Muslims. We're not a spiritual, righteous man and all that BS, talking all that conscious crap. We're Moors. And we deal with Moorish science, which includes Moorish history, Moorish law, and anything else that comes with it. How is it that we're Moorish Americans, we have a prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and you're telling me about some Quran and all that stuff? What Quran are you talking about? What do you mean you're a Moor and you're telling me about Quran? I'm not Muslim. I'm not Muslim. I got Quran on the shelf over there, but I don't read it. That's not my holy book. My holy book is Circle 7 Quran Noble Drew Ali prepared. I got a Bible over there. I don't read it. Drew Ali said don't throw it out. You didn't tell me read it or nothing like that. It's just there. This is about you knowing. And man knows not by being told. So you better go read something. Stop expecting, just like people talking about, you know, the conjunction and the planets lining up in there, the telescope out, that's no different than looking at God outside yourself. What are you looking at planets and stuff like that? I thought all those planets were chakras and all that. I thought as above, so below. What are you talking about? What are you looking for out there? You got a telescope to see what? What are you looking for? You looking for God out there? God's not out there. Astrology's not out there. If Taurus is neck, astrology's not out there. Keep playing games. Man is spirit, not the flesh. Man is mind. And you will be played if you don't focus. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. You better focus. Somebody was asking about expatriation or something. How does one expatriate? How is nationality declared? That's the whole issue. Just with nationality, people are looking at it as something outside themselves. It's not. It's not. You're not reading for outside. You're reading to stimulate stuff that's inside. That's why Drew Ali said prepare the Quran and all that, because this is for the workshop of the mind. This is about getting the mind right so the physical is right, so you don't have to wish on it out there. Because it's within. So like the declaration of the nationality, it's not I have a paper or I A, B, C, D, E, F, G, now I'm a Moor. That's not what being a Moor is. And if somebody taught that from that perspective, they played you. Because outside of, you came from your mom, so that's what you are. Outside of that, right? This is not something that you can buy or sell or be given. It's what you are, who you are. And by being that, that's a Moor. Not this paper that you have saying Moorish American, or a card saying Moorish American. It's where's your mind at? Being that. You could have all the books that you want, but people would get caught up again in the things at the extension of their limbs. That's not where it's at. If God's not out there, then nothing is out there like that. Oh yeah, God's within, but we're going to go look at some planets to... What are you talking about? I thought God was within. If God was within, then the planets are within. If God created the planets and stuff like that. Yeah, we see a sun out there, but there's a sun within. Shining more than that sun. So the whole concept of the expatriate and whatever, all that stuff is European sovereign stuff that Moors brought in playing games. They don't expatriate your home. You have nothing to do with the Walmart. What does Walmart have to do? What does Walmart have to do with you? Walmart board meeting. You in a Walmart board meeting? What does that have to do with you? What's the United States, Canada, what's all that stuff have to do? If Plymouth Rock landed on you, that's what your boy said. Your boy said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Okay, so what do you think he's telling you? He's telling you that you've been here. You've been here before some Plymouth Rock. You're Plymouth Rock. You're the mountaintop. Forget Martin went and looked over, and you're looking at a mountain as if he's talking about you. Take this information within. Do not play this exterior game that it's really about out there. I don't care what you have out there. Everything out there, there's an opposite reflection of it inward, manifesting somehow. And then inward, is beyond your organs, because even those are inward and those have a spiritual component. So you could push a spot in your toe and all that stuff and hit something of your organs. Because the divine side is working in ways we can't even comprehend. Right? Here we go again. Quran doesn't have anything to do with Moors like that. We're not Muslim. We're mystic. We're not pray 5 times a day, Salat, Ramadan. Even though you would hear Moors say those things and exercise those things, that's not something across the board with Moors. There's Moors who are occultists. There's Moors who are Christian or Gnostic, Kemetic. So don't blanket Moors in some Islamic perspective. You lose every time. Just guarantee you're gonna bump into a Moor. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean shalom? I'm not Yehudi. I'm Islamic. Don't tell me assalamu alaikum. No, man, just say, yo, what's up? You don't know. Don't blanket. No need to blanket. And if Moors are talking Quran, we're talking Koran. Knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, and nature. Quran. And then they're probably going to go in their pocket or their bag or whatever, and they're going to pull out Noble Drew Ali's divinely prepared book for the Moors. The Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple, or it might say Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. There's a 7 inside 4 quadrants. So if we're talking about the Moorish Quran, there's metaphysics all up and down that book. You go anywhere and it's a lesson. And again, he prepared it. Certain lessons are specifically for Moors. You can get yourself right. Get your family right. Now you tell me you couldn't get your family right if you didn't have this? Holy instructions and warnings for all young men. Instructions for man and wife from the noble prophet. Instructions from the prophet, duty of a husband. Holy instructions for children. The obedience of children toward their father. Holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Holy instructions of unity. The holy unity of the rich and poor. Holy instructions of the prophet, master and servant. Holy instructions of the prophet, magistrate and servant. Holy instructions of the prophet, the social duties. Holy instructions of the prophet, justice. Holy instructions of the prophet, charity, gratitude, sincerity, religion, know thyself, the breath of heaven, the soul of man, pinnacle of wisdom, the instability of man, inconstancy, weakness, the insufficiency of knowledge, misery, the origin of the Asiatic nations, the beginning of Christianity, Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa, end and times and fulfillment of the prophecies. That sounds like everything it takes to save a nation. That sounds like if we apply all of those chapters to our life, we should come out on the other end after implementing these things with a better life. Because it was divinely prepared to work like that. So yeah, he brought us everything that it takes to save a nation. Told us, take it and save ourselves. And that's what you better do. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Now the other thing they presented, I see you still running around slandering for over 10 years now. No, it's not really slander, because it was 2011, going through the stuff with the mother with the child, and was in the news, people calling all over. Like, yo, what? You guys are in the news where we're at? This is crazy. Like, these people, they gotta know who Moors are then. And they must have thought that we were just dumb Moors or something like that. Don't know who our master teacher is. But these guys, when they had their different name before the name they got today, tried to sell us a package, pay $600 up front and all that, and we'll take care of this stuff, get it done for you. No, situation got done. She got the children. Matter of fact, I see him regular. And there's even a further backstory where it's too much. So the whole point was, because the situation had to do with a heir, claim the birth certificate, so then you have jurisdiction, and then if it goes to court, you don't have to all the BS. But $600, so $1,200. But because we know you Moors are doing it for the we'll give you a deal $600. Thinking that we were some dumb Moors. Thinking that, we're all the way in Canada. We don't know what's going on because there's igloos there and they live under snow and all this. No, we don't. We have streets and stuff that get cleaned and all that. We got apartments and houses and stuff here. There's not igloos anywhere around here. Never been igloos around here like that, ever. That's north. That's way beyond where we're at. You see in igloos. I don't know what they thought, but they tried to run game. And after I seen some people get jail time and stuff like that, and then they switch up their name, and now they got a different name and a different law firm and all this stuff. They were playing games. These people playing games, still playing games, 10 years later. Just so you know. 10 years later, still playing people. Still playing people. About there for the Moors. But then again, they have all their little minions that pop out. And then they pop out and they're talking about Noble Drew Ali didn't bring 100% of what was. What do you mean he didn't bring everything? Oh, these are those Moors. Still. Even back then, they weren't riding with Noble Drew Ali like that. Right? That's these Moors. These Moors were in Summit of the Moors with Taj and Diallo and Abundance Child and all that. What you mean? Anybody who says that they had interaction with Taj on some level of being on the same venue with him or to learn from him or whatever like that, back then, you're huge. You're big time. Back then. You're big time. Let's go ask them. What happened? We got off the stuff that it was really about. You got off. What happened? You started doing this. You're making up a nation all of a sudden. What do you mean? When you guys were Summit of the Moors, that was for the Moorish nation. That was for some organization or whatever. That was for Moors. So there's always a backstory with certain people. And we're letting you know this is about people are against Drew Ali. Forget Cujo and Canaanland and all that. That we're irrelevant in this. All we're doing is put out information to our people. That's all. You know? But we're doing it under Moorish Science Temple of America, which all these people used to play around and tell you about. Oh, that's irreligious. Don't follow that. Don't go there. Now people are coming back to the temple. We got members who are honorary that aren't even from here. And they wanted that because everywhere they went, they weren't getting any teachings that were relative to RV Bay publications, that were relative to Hakeem Bay, Aleem Bay, Taj Street Bay, Grand Sheik Nature Bay. You name them. C. Freeman L., Delbert Blair Bay, you name them. They weren't getting any of that. As far as a Moorish Science Temple. And people want to be down with Noble Drew Ali, so they want to be part of a temple. They want to be part of a temple. People are mad. Because why? Because if they had that membership, you know, that'll be their $8,000 for pockets. Opposed to what solutions do we have when anytime these Moors need a witness or need a seal or whatever like that, for whatever it is that they're doing out there, Moors go to the temple to get that. You think that's not a solution? You think it's not a solution that a chaplain of the prison could call the Grand Sheik for a Moorish Science Temple because there's some inmates who heard about Moors and they want some books. And the chaplain's calling directly. Not debating, are we Moors and all that stuff. Yeah, we got some inmates that, want some books about Noble Drew Ali and Moors and stuff like that. You mean what solutions? Like, there's too much solving going on with us. We deal with Moors on a regular. No 500 after you have a conversation with a Moor because, this is my intellectual property and, a servant is worthy of his hire. So, say nothing about that. Like we said, the Moor looked over the banister and told the people, go home, the prophet has to rest. That servant is worthy of his hire. That servant worthy of his hire. Then you have to push people out because everybody knows that that's the prophet and they just want to, touch his garment, much less get a box of herbs or mineral oil or, you know what I mean? Have a sit down and try to solve these issues with a mate. You're putting in work for the nation. Just so in 2020 we could be talking about him. Still. After people try to bury him and hide him from you. Have you know about all these other scholars and all the other stuff that they brought? When it comes to Noble Drew Ali, zip the lip. No talking about him. Don't bring him up. If you do bring him up from some religious perspective so people don't go check further and make sure that you don't show too many pictures of him because, there's something weird about his picture that no matter where it is, anywhere you go, it looks like he's looking at you. So there's some kind of ritual with the pictures, so keep the pictures to a minimum. Right? Because there are pictures. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. It's probably about 5-10 minutes left on this. Yep, and again, this is not some group thing. All the finance that we get, doesn't pay anybody other than for the services. So phone and whatever people could call, fill that voicemail up. Electricity, so we could have lights and people could plug stuff in and charge phones and do whatever you gotta do with electricity. All right. Building ain't ours. You gotta rent that. And honors to the Moors who stay supporting their temple and supporting their prophet, just like we do. It ain't like we're coming out every week with a new chain or something like that. If we come out with a new shirt, it's because, a Moor has something and we support it. Or a new hat or a new whatever. And we're just plugging. Ain't nobody getting no pockets out here. There's not no driving around in a Benz because we told these people debates and made 1 point whatever million off some debates. And community still looking like shit and people won debates and conditions still the same. The debate winner guys' information didn't do anything but put finance in these people's pocket. For nothing to happen. Like there's people that you support and then, there's something happening from the support. And you can say, oh wow, yeah, that's real good that, so and so learned something, or so and so, got a connection for whatever. This is about humanitarian. This is not about selfish. It's not about you're an island. You're Epstein. You're not Epstein. No man is an island. Right? Forget all that. Forget all that. This is about unifying our people under a nationality. And that nationality is Moors. Anything other than that is wardship, and these people got something for you. You ever hear the vaccine? They're going to looking to get the elderly and the minorities, and then they throw you in there. You didn't hear them throw you in there? Who's the first people they're going to go check? And all they have to do is hit up all the spots that you support, that belongs to them. And you should have had your own, so you wouldn't be even in this mess right now. Just like everybody else has their own, because this is nation. Right? You'll be alright once you stick to the base. rvbaypublications.com. Go there, study. Take your time. I mean, if the world's gonna end in 20 days, then hey, might as well get as much as you could get, so you could maybe, astral project when the stuff hits or whatever. Well, rvbaypublications.com. Don't forget today's Tuesday, so Blog Talk Radio 9 p.m. MHHS Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk Radio 9 p.m. and 7 p.m. right after this, Canaanland Moors YouTube. We're doing our third session with Brother Drupata, dealing with the Moorish Kemetic science connection, the Moorish Kemetic history connection. So this is session number 3, 7 p.m., which is in half an hour, 34 minutes or whatever. It's Canaanland Moors YouTube. So just look for the live at 7. And then MHHS Eyes Wide Open at 9. All right. And again, there ain't no expose. No. Yeah, expose. People been dirty. It's not. It's wanting attention. They could have it, but it's only gonna allow Drew Ali to get talked about more, not debating something. Well, 15 seconds, and it's probably gonna stop in less than that. So Islam to all the Moors, Islam to all the mothers, honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and love, Islam.